How's it going, guys? Teddy Mac here with Stackz Gaming, coming at you guys with a profile for the 250th YCS. I heard this deck actually did really well. It had a really good record, went pretty far, and everybody knows I'm here at the channel. Go ahead, present yourself, and what deck were you playing today, sir? What was your record?
Well, went 6 rounds in, 3-3, so 3 wins, 3 losses, and wanted to do more, but once I hit that 3rd loss, it's like there's no point to top cutting and all that. Now, we were hungry, you know, we wanted to get the best out of everything, but it's all chill, and a buddy of mine was able to give me this beautiful Albaz structure mat. Just looks fine wine right there, fine wine. So, doing what I can. This is your Dragunity player, and always thankful to Stackz Gaming. And here's my deck profile for what I went with 250. Starting off, usual Dragunity Remuses at 3. That's always going to be a standard for this deck, and always pretty solid. 2 Dragunity Legatises. So those 2 together, that always gets into my synchros. 1 Dragunity Phalanx, always going to be still the one and only, but still always in this deck. Dragunity Arma Masillivan, always going to have 1 as well. In total, that's the full Dragunity monster package in this deck as far as the main deck is concerned. 7 monsters, a spiciness, changed it up a little bit, so you're going to see some different things. 1 Blackwing Zephyros, the unofficial Dark Dragunity monster in this deck, always refreshes that ravine. Samsara Dragon, another unofficial monster. With that, I'm always able to get the Masillivan back to hand and do that combo that everybody loves. This one, however, is new. Zephyrid has been a new add-on since I've been able to kind of tweak out my combos, and it's been a good add-on altogether. And at 1, no less. Miss Valley Baby Rock at 1 as well. Always goes with the Gator, always goes into my 8. Usually going to be Crystal Wing for the most part. Red Eyes Darkness Metal, still at 1 as well. Even with the errata to 1 hard once returned, it's all good. This card always comes out, even usually as a 0-0, and able to go into my additional combo at that point. What is new is the next cards that are coming up. Bystial Magnamuto. Really love this card. Only run 1. The Bystial package I wanted to like throw in there and see what's up, and it's been doing pretty good for me. So 1 Magnamuto, 1 Drew Swarm, 1 Serenin, and 1 Bystial Lubellion. Like I said, friends and others have helped me get this deck to where it's at today, and helped me get certain cards, so, and I give them all my respect to that. And that Bystial package works overtime with my newer combo that it comes around, that I've learned from fellow Dragunity players, no less. Tempest Dragon, always loved the Dragon Ruler, and always at 1, always really good. And if you didn't notice the Bystial package, there was 1 of each as well. I don't run the Bulldog though, not a fan of it, but you know, c'est la vie. Eventually I'm going to change up little things here and there, but I'll continue on. So it's going to be 1, 2 Fallen of Albaz. This card's been pretty solid. I'll usually summon it with Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spears, and when it comes out, I'm able to fuse with one of my opponent's monsters. Always gives me some tracked advantage at that point. Moving on to other punishments from the opponent and all that I could do. Got 2 Ash Blossoms. Ashes have been critical in the meta. Some people run 3. I'm good for 2 at the moment. Maybe later on down the line I might adjust that, but we'll see what's up. 1 Ghost Ogre. A lot of people will be like, hey, you should be running at least 2, maybe more. There's so much removal, and because this card does say it has to be sent to grave, it's like, I kind of just want it at the 1 for right now. Because at least Ash, you could still work around most removal. 1 Kashtira Unicorn. If I could open out with that, it'll be on top of the combo of what I normally do, and it makes a difference. Like that 1 trigger, if they go off with the monster effect of Ash and all that, able to punish my opponent for it. 1 Nib. I've seen other players go for 2. I've even seen go for 3, but I just like the 1 Nib in the main deck. I do have 1 in the side deck, but you know, just the 1 in the main deck's been pretty solid. Gandara, the mystery kaiju, like the one that we all know that's Mothra and all that. I keep 2 in the deck. Pretty good to spot removal certain things. Like I know people like Lava Golem or the raw one, the raw spear mode, but this has been more solid for me, especially for targets for Tempest and all that. So moving on to spells and traps. Dragon's Ravine at 3. always spicy, always gets me my dragons from my deck to grave or my Dragunities from deck to hand. Either way, it's always pretty solid. 2 Dragunity glows. These glows are always going to get Miss Sullivan, whether it's in the grave, whether it's in the deck, to my hand, and then unattached, so that way I can do for Gator, going into a combo and all that. Just in general, really solid. A new MVP, however, Branded Regained. This card's been really solid to the combo that I do, because I always, if unaffected by the opponent, I'll bring out the Bystial Rebellion. It's going to bring it on the board. I'll get his trigger for a draw. My opponent does anything, I'll be able to reborn stuff. It's like pretty solid altogether. Gold Sark is a classic. Gold Sark and Tempest work in union and tandem. If I draw into the Tempest, I could do something. If I draw into the Gold Sark, I'm going to banish the Tempest and get the Remus. Always good searches. Even if they do an Ash, it's at least a free search that I get from the Gold Sark at that point. Call by the Grave. Usually whenever hand traps come into play, Call by the Grave is one of those cards that really comes in clutch to be able to deal with it. And even in my matches, it did come in handy very often when I opened turn 1, luckily. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Back row removal in the worst case scenario, whether you're playing turn 2 or going on from there, it makes a huge difference. Not 1, but 2 Evenly Matches added to the deck. Evenly Match actually gave me a good win, and it was against a Labyrinth player as well. They had set most of their traps. They had 1 spot open. My turn, go to battle phase, end of battle phase, evenly match in that 1 zone that was open, and they lost out most of their board for it. It was really, really good. Last but not least, in the main deck, 3 Infinite Impermanence. This card has been so good. I will always stick to 3 on this card. Every meta is just, it's always doing something, and then you can't Call by the Grave it. You can Sales Ban, you can cross out Designator, but it's always spicy, no matter what you look at. So going then from there, that was the main deck. Now we're going to move on to the extra deck. So from previous tournaments, some things you'll see, some things are a little different. First off, Dragunity Durg. I've been doing 1 for such a long time, but certain cards punish the extra deck, like Cashier, Unicorn, and other stuff. So I'm running 2 now, just in case if they pop 1 and such. But been pretty solid altogether. Dragunity Lewin. Lewin is part of my newer combo, and it comes in handy pretty clutch. Usually with Sephiroth and Phalix synchroing together, I go into Lewin. Lewin gets the Phalix unattached. Lewin is usually gonna overlay with Miss Sullivan and all that and go into an Attuned, always really spicy. From there, go into 1 Borload Savage Dragon. Usually end combo ends with that Savage Dragon. It's always really good as an Omni Negate, always pretty solid for putting pressure on your opponent. And like this next card, Crystal Wing, another great card for pressure. Even though it's not an Omni, it's a Monster Negate, it's still really good. I've beaten through Psychic and Punishers from Therian Punks or other decks in general. Like, this card has always been spicy for what it does. Going on further into links, 2 Dragunity Romuluses. Romulus always gets you that search for either Dragon's Ravine or Dragunity Glow. So it's been really good. I added an extra again for that possible chance that somebody hits my extra deck like that, but so far it's been pretty good. Eventually some things will change from the events of YCS 250 that I've learned. So like I said, been pretty good so far and might adjust certain numbers. Heretics Seal, the Heavenly Spears. Always going to run 2. Debatably thinking about 3, but for now I had 2 for the event, and it was really good because that's actually part of the core combo. 2 Heretic Dragon King of Attuned. Have 2 because the new combo allows me to go 2 into 2 in the same turn and such. It's really crazy, and because it's from a time of not hard ones per turns, each one will be able to go off at that point. Now the last bit of cards are going to be a bunch of fusions that Albaz usually ends up going for. First we got Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Always good for 2 dark targets. Fallen Albaz is going to be 1, and then the other thing's going to be whatever my opponent is playing. Another good one is going to be Titanclad the Ash Dragon. This card has been really fundamental to deal with certain opponents on whatever big beaters they have. As long as it's 2500 or more attack, I'm going to be able to fuse into it, and Albaz takes advantage of taking a target from my opponent that's a good beater, and at the same time giving me a strong beater for it. A new card that I'm adding, Brimbram the Striking Dragon, been really good. It was able to use it against a Sprite player, was able to use it against, let's see, what was the other one? I can't remember the other deck, but Being able to target a beast warrior, or a winged beast as a target for fusion has been pretty good. But where it excels is combined in tandem with the next card, which is going to be Mirror Jade. Each of these fusions, there's only one of as well. So with Mirror Jade, what I usually end up doing is I'll send the Rimbram to the grave, and then Rimbram is going to be able to banish itself and bring out Fallen Out Baz to be able to fuse. I can't do it in the same turn I summon Mirror Jade, because more than likely that's Fallen Out Baz already used it for the turn, and he is so hard once per turn. But after that, every opponent's turn that's open, I could usually fuse from Rimbram banishing itself, going into bringing Albaz on the board and choosing a target at that point. So this extra deck's been pretty solid. Again, fundamentally, might change a couple cards, but 250 showed me what I liked and what I needed pretty much. Now, last bit is going to be the side deck. Everybody's got their own personal choices, pet peeves and all that, so this is just what I fundamentally wanted to go with. Starting off is going to be the extra nib, so one nib in the main, one nib in the side. Been pretty good, could shift out how I want to go from there. One Ghost Bell. Shockingly, this Ghost Bell is actually really good. It got me one of my wins actually, so a lot of people don't see it coming, and it goes into that category where I could use it even if removal is in the situation at that point. One Kashtira Unicorn. It's a wind, it's a 7-star, it's one of those cards I could use because it's a free summon. Like I said, fundamentally helps. And yes, there was one in the main deck as well. This is just an extra one in case I want to shift plays at that point from the first game going on forward after sighting. Another card I use, 3 Artifact Lancias. Lancias are really good against any decks that are pro removal at that point, so it's one of those cards from Shifter, or Defizz, or all of the above that actually makes a big difference. Especially to protect my stuff at that point, and usually cut combos of my opponent. 2 Koyokamiro Drago. There's always light and dark decks, whether they're rogues or main decks at this point. They come in handy to deal with that. And they've been there for me for many, many years. They're always going to be a powerful beater at 19 and doing what they can. Next, we got King Tiger Wengu. Everybody's like, why are you running that? It's like, dude, this card has actually given me a lot of props at times, even against a Sprite player, no less. Like, anything that's little dudes, King Tiger's just gonna pop as a summon. Even if they're normal, flip, or special, it doesn't matter. King Tiger really does it. Like, little love to this older card, does it well. Cosmic Cyclone at 2. So Cosmic Cyclone's been pretty good for spot removal on the back row. Evenly matched does hit quite a bit, but there's times where just that spot removal can make or break a game at that point. Speaking of make or breaks, 3 Crossouts. I have them in the side. Everybody tells me I should put some in the main, and I'm probably going to do that later, but for now, I have them in the side so that way I could just shift it into the main if I want to. It's there as a just in case. But like I said, props to this card. It had saved me in quite a bit of combos when they would do either an Ash to me or an Imperm to me at that point, and I'd be able to do something with that. Like I said, Crossout Designator, major kudos at that point. So that's my 15 side right there, and that was my main. That was everything all set. Hope you guys were able to enjoy your YCS 250. I would say like and subscribe to Stackz. They did a lot for me and was there for me to grow as a player and doing what I can. This is your Dragunity profile and it's all set. Well, Bystial Dragunity now practically.